Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to FPL Don't Panic. Very, very quick one. But first I have to say, Jesus, are you lot starved of FPL at the moment, like addicts coming to a crack dealer? The video that I put out a couple of days ago, I mean, normally I'm sort of, get a couple of hundred views, it's a pretty small channel, but 1,200 views and a bunch of new subscribers. You must be all be feeling a bit deprived of content at the moment. I'll tell you. Anyways, hey, listen, really appreciate it. Bunch of new subscribers. Absolutely take that any day of the week. And hopefully, some of the stuff I spoke about in that last video, I went through the spreadsheet. Very, very early draft. So hopefully some of you got some out of that. And I know a few of you actually have requested a copy of the template. Anyone that's interested, please just reach out to me. More than happy to send it on. Just go into my channel details. You'll find my email there. Just pop me a quick email. Hey Des, be really appreciated if you could pop me a copy of your template. Right, what am I going to talk about now? Last year, I really tried to start out with a no hits philosophy, and I failed miserably, absolutely miserably. And then in the second half of the season, I got more on board with it. Probably just took a couple of hits for the second half of the season, and had a very, very strong half to the season, and even managed, as I say, to play through that last 10 games or so without any significant, well, without any chips, and did very, very well. Got, as I say, top 50k. Done a bit of analysis. I've just really, it's time to really take this no hits philosophy seriously. And I am going to set myself a rule this year of no more than 3 hits. Sometimes there are circumstances where it can be justified, but it's got to be really, really justified. Just a few of you remember there was at one point last year when I was taking a few hits, and I was calling them strategic worsening of points, just to try and put a more positive connotation on them. But the reality is they just don't work. I did a bit of excuse me, I still got a bit of a hay fever going on. I did a bit of analysis. I didn't do the whole top 50. I'm not that sad an addict, but I did look at the top 5. Now, the top 5, I haven't got this written up. Top 5 teams, just for your own sort of information. The guy that finished number 1, he only took 1 hit all season. It was in the last game of the season, and it was a blocking move, totally justified. He had 3 playing subs, 2 reasonably decent ones. That you maybe have considered in your first 11, but certainly strong playing first 2 subs, and then a little 4 million playing defender. Person that came second actually did take 4 hits across the season, and a couple of those I think were rank chasers towards the end of the season, trying to maybe just try and have a crack at getting to that number 1 slot. 3 playing subs. All, by the way, had a 4.5 million keeper and a 4 million non-playing keeper. So just 3 playing subs. Third in world, took 1 hit, just had 2 playing subs, and it was a really, really skimpy bench, to be fair. It was just a 2 points off the bench sort of thing. Number 4, no hits, 3 playing subs. Number 5, unusually, the anomaly, 8 hits, but a really, really cheap, really dirt cheap playing subs. So maybe getting that 1 point or 2 point out of them if they had to be used, but seemed to be more inclined to take hits, and they were fairly spread out across the season. Did a bunch of spot checks on the top 50 just to try and get a feel for overall, and I would say most of the teams in the top 50 took there were a few anomalies in there, that did, take 5 or 6 hits. But by and large, I did just a lot of spot checks between 1 and 3 hits. So that's why I'm giving myself a max of 3. Max of 3. I've got to have little allowances because there may be exceptional circumstances sometimes. But by and large, my philosophy will be to take no hits. Now, why take no hits? I'm not sure how many of you know this. Hits do actually affect your rank. If you have there's 11.5 million players in this game, 11.5 million players, so there's always likely to be hundreds, if not a few thousand, on the same points as you. The player with the lowest amount of hits gets placed further up in that. If you're in place of equal points with a whole lot of other players. If you've got less hits than people around you, you will actually be placed higher in the rankings than them. More to the point though, is it worth it? I mean, we've all done it. We'll all remember the hit we took that, oh yeah, he got 2 goals. But what about all the hits that just simply didn't work? Where your player didn't score and the player that you took out actually did get a return. But just to give you some maths, and please correct me if I'm wrong on this, it does do you. I'm not very good at maths, believe it or not. Right, just have a look at this. Please tell me if I think I've got this my maths right on this. It's just a little bit of a weird one. Right, let's take it from the left here. Player you take out, yeah, -4. Okay, you bring a player in, they don't return, you get 2 points. If they get a goal, say it's a midfielder gets a goal, 4 points. And let's be generous here, they get the 3 bonus points. Okay, so you've got a return of 5. But if you'd used your bench and just had someone reasonable coming on, and they get the 2 points. So really, your net result is actually just 3 if they get a return and they get 3 bonus points. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense. Now, even worse than that, suppose this has happened to me, that the player I've taken out thought, right, now had enough, whatever, gets a bloody goal. Of course, you have injuries. You could be a bit injury decimated. Then that's where, as I say, just use your bench. Just use your bench. Play through it. Play through the pain of having who did we have last year? It would have been a 4 million defender, Johnson. Come off the bench, just take your 2 points and just pray. But it's just by and large, as I say, my experience, and I think, as I say, going by what the players that actually ultimately do very, very, very well in the game, they take very few hits. Of course, there'll be the times when you will want to take a hit, and then you don't take a hit, and these are the ones you're going to remember, and that player gets a goal, and the player that you took off the bench blanks. But on average, as far as I can work out, and certainly for me, it just by and large don't work. And I reckon I'd have had easily another 20 to 20 plus points if I just more, because I know there was sometimes the player that I took out did actually bloody return. I don't even want to go back. It upset me to just go back and think of what it might have been if I hadn't done it. So for better or for worse, it is the strategy I'm going to adopt. What are your thoughts? What do you do on hits? How many hits did you take last year? Does this make sense? Is it something you think about doing? Something right? Try and stay strong. Don't take the hits. Just get over the FOMO. Maybe I'll call this. I think that's what I'll call this video. Video. Get over the FOMO. That's it. Short, sharp, sweet hit of a video. Pun intended. Let me know what you think in the comments. Welcome on board all the new subscribers if you're tuning into this one. Let me know the sort of content. I mean, a lot of my stuff is about me and my strategy. But what I hope is in some of the things that I do, you guys get out of it. And I will try and gear the content a little bit more towards the wider audience as opposed to being completely self-obsessed. Take care, have fun, play your own game, don't panic. See you soon. Bye-bye.